One of the most fascinating characters in all of Dragon Ball is the attendant of Earth's god, Mr. Popo. It's an understanding among the Dragon Ball fandom that Popo is at the top of the pecking order.
Alright, maggots, listen up! Popo's about to teach you the pecking order. It goes you, the dirt, the worms inside of the dirt, Popo's stool, Kami, then Popo.
According to him, all the squares make a circle, so let's piece together the squares surrounding Mr. Popo to uncover how strong he really is. To start, as we all know, Mr. Popo is the attendant of Earth's god. Whether it be Dende, Kami, or even an assimilation of Piccolo and Kami, he will be the attendant no matter what. His true age is unknown, but Mr. Popo has likely lived for thousands of years, possibly millions. He is an extremely strong deity for at least early Dragon Ball standards, and was also considerably strong in early Dragon Ball Z. His abilities provide him many advantages in battle, like his ki absorption, his amazing ki sensory, and his false ultra instinct. Mr. Popo doesn't have many dynamics with characters like the Z Fighters or even Goku if you really think about it, as he's mostly exclusively associated with the Kami that he serves, and he served multiple of them. His greatest attachment is to the god of Earth, hence why we see him cry a great deal when Kami fused with Piccolo. Popo's relationship with the god of Earth spans hundreds of years, and a new one has recently started in the form of Dende. He'll obviously come to care about Dende as well, and already does, and that'll be a relationship that continues to grow as Dende is a newly appointed guardian. As for his origin, we don't know too much about it. Funnily enough, according to the Dragon Ball fandom, Mr. Popo was born in the Otherworld at some point in the past. He was sent to Earth to become the attendant to each successive guardian of the planet. I just wanted to point that out. I actually couldn't find anything backing that claim up, but I think it's funny that the Dragon Ball fandom says that, so I included it. His character has a very distinct personality. Mr. Popo is a very nonchalant, calm character in Dragon Ball. His personality is marked by patience, politeness, and a calm demeanor. He appreciates the natural world, shown by his tending to a butterfly garden. However, he's very blunt, telling Goku straight up multiple times that he's just a weakling compared to himself. He's always protective of his god. He's an intelligent being with millions of years of experience. In his natural state, Mr. Popo is almost always seen smiling. We're not sure if this is just his default face or whether he's simply smiling all the time, but it can definitely be disturbing. For the audience, Popo at first started out as just the next master for Goku, as he was introduced that way. Just a teacher or sensei role like Roshi and many others that came before him. But as time passed, he definitely became a character with much more comedic relief, even with his very few lines throughout the rest of the series. Mainly that's because of Dragon Ball Abridged. Let's talk about the main thing though, his power. Throughout Dragon Ball, there are many points in time that show us how strong Popo truly is. So let's start with early Dragon Ball to early Dragon Ball Z. Popo's only recorded power level is 1030, and that's in the Saiyan saga. But this does beg the question, why didn't he help Goku and Piccolo fight Raditz? They were clearly outclassed, and it very well could have led to Earth's destruction. In my mind, it's likely the same reason Kami or Popo did not step in to help against King Piccolo. As we know, Mr. Popo clearly outclassed Goku after his fight with the Demon King. He was far stronger and literally manhandled him in many scenes, not only in strength but in speed and technical ability as well. So why didn't he step in? Well, as Kami once said, it would not do for any man to begin saying, if things get bad, God will fix it. In the end, Earthlings must depend on their own power to find their way through. Since Popo is Kami's attendant and acts out Kami's will, he likely has the same reason. They simply choose not to interfere with mortal affairs, which can definitely be debated because Kami totally does interfere. It's just not with his power because it's way too little to personally do it himself. But the Room of Spirit and Time is something he outsources to mortals to train in, so I don't know what his logic is, but let's get back to Mr. Popo. Even though it's usually overlooked, especially later in the series, Popo does start out as a master of martial arts, training only Goku at first. But don't forget that he also trains Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu for the Saiyan threat. Given that Master Roshi was easily able to destroy a moon in the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai with power levels that were barely in the 200s, Popo is very capable and definitely strong enough to destroy a larger moon or even Earth in early Dragon Ball Z. Popo is at the very least planetary. But as for speed, he's most certainly at least faster than lightning, as one of the first things he teaches to Goku is to improve his speed, and the way he does it is to make Goku literally dodge lightning. I mean, not to say that it wasn't effective because Goku did become faster than lightning, but Popo is likely much faster than even that, considering that after Goku undergoes his training to become faster than lightning, he's still much slower in comparison to Mr. Popo. At the very least, Popo is a third of the speed of light, because that's the speed of lightning. But that's a very conservative number. In late Dragon Ball Z, Popo Popo's biggest question mark of a feat is being able to hold off a Goten and Trunks that are in Super Saiyan. To clear up this feat, you really have to look at the context. Neither Goten or Trunks were at full power in their Super Saiyan forms. We know this because just a little bit later they had to charge up their ki to represent their full powers when Goku was training them for the fusion dance. That's not to undermine this feat though. In an early Buu Saga statement, Goten is said to be on a similar level of strength as Gohan in their base form, thereby putting Trunks on that level as well. So even though they're not full power, this is still incredible for a fighter whose only stated power level is 1030. Keep in mind that this same Gohan fights on par with Deborah, so Mr. Popo is actually kind of going crazy here. In Dragon Ball Super, unfortunately, Mr. Popo is sidelined even more and actually has no more feats shown. But there is a hilarious scene that I would love to mention. This scene is exactly why Popo's the GOAT. He literally threatens a Vegeta post-Tournament of Destroyers that he would face consequences if he destroyed the Room of Spirit in time again. Pretty ballsy. If you ask me, he's just showing Vegeta who's at the top of the pecking order. Let's talk about Popo's abilities, the simplest of which is levitation. This gives him the ability to fly by controlling his ki. He's one of the first characters to show this ability in the series. He's also shown teleporting, but keep in mind that this might just be a feature of the magic carpet he was sitting on rather than just being able to do it. Back to his supreme control over ki though, he is again one of the first in Dragon Ball that has shown sensing ki and being able to track the movements of others like he did to stop Goku. Popo's ability to track movements is actually really impressive when you look at how effortlessly he was doing it. He also has the ability to absorb ki, shown by him literally eating Goku's Kamehameha. This is one factor that could help Popo potentially defeat fighters that are way stronger than him. With him defending himself against Goten and Trunks, we can definitely say that he would probably fight at least Frieza. But say Frieza is slightly stronger than him, Popo could absorb his ki blast and neutralize that whole aspect of fighting. If it comes down to hand-to-hand combat, Popo is a master of martial arts. That's definitely where he wants the fight to be happening. He also possesses a form of immortality, where he clearly can't die of old age because he's lived for thousands if not millions of years, but he can be killed as shown when Frieza blew up the earth in Resurrection of Frieza, and he died in the Buu Saga as well. You'd be very surprised to learn that one of the more shocking abilities is his version of Ultra Instinct. Yep, you heard that right, Mr. Popo has a false version of Ultra Instinct. All of Popo's teachings to Goku are extremely similar to Whis' teachings. We know, as shown in the manga, that all of Goku's masters contributed to his understanding of Ultra Instinct in the grand scheme of things. Popo was among them. The main parts of his training that led to this is first and foremost his philosophy, which can roughly be stated as calm as the heavens and as fast as the lightning. Popo teaching Goku to clear his mind, to master his control of ki, and to remove redundant movements, which he had a whole training segment for with a bell, is oddly similar to Whis' teachings. But of course, Goku didn't have the capacity for Ultra Instinct at that point. Neither was a technique established. That took 20 more years, but obviously it's some crazy unintentional foreshadowing. There are some other abilities of his which are also pretty godly. Popo made a Shenron model that Dende used to upgrade Shenron, and in a Dragon Ball video game, Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans, Popo was able to create his own set of Dragon Balls that produced a Shenron which wasn't as powerful as Kami's, but still was a Shenron. I just wanted to mention that, even though technically it's a non-canon feat. But what's not non-canon is that he can kind of create life in a sense. He formed a Goku clone that lacks all of Goku's flaws in fighting. Their skills are exactly the same. The only difference is that the clay Goku has no interference in his mind and can concentrate completely on fighting. Another thing that Ultra Instinct is particularly good at. Goku has an extremely difficult time concentrating his mind at this point in the series, showing yet another way that Popo was contributing to Goku's eventual understanding of Ultra Instinct. I also would like to mention just one other interesting ability he has, which is surprisingly his ability to speak the Namekian language, more than likely taught to him by Kami. Popo also has access to some weirdly powerful accessories. He's kind of a genie, so it only makes sense for him to have a magic carpet, something he used in the Saiyan Saga to go to the hospital Goku was being treated at to get Bulma and then teleported with it. He has a staff that he uses to blind Goku for his ki sensing training, which could actually be really useful in battle against someone that can't sense ki. Mr. Popo might just be at the top of the pecking order, but even if he isn't, I hope all those squares made a circle in your mind. Enough to drop a like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.